MediaTek is not playing around this year because the specs for the Dimensity 9600 Pro just leaked, and honestly, this thing looks absolutely wild on paper. Like, if these numbers are real, Apple and Qualcomm might actually have a fight on their hands for the first time in a while. Let's break it all down. So first, the chip. MediaTek is building the Dimensity 9600 Pro on TSMC's brand new 2nm process. Now, I know that sounds super technical, but here's what it actually means for you. Imagine your phone's chip right now running really hard and getting hot. This new process, it basically does the same work but uses way less energy doing it. We're talking up to 30% less power. That means better battery life, less heat, and the phone doesn't feel like a hand warmer after 20 minutes of gaming. And because the chip runs cooler and more efficiently, MediaTek is pushing the performance cores all the way up to 5 GHz. 5! That is fast. That's the kind of speed that makes everything on your phone feel instant. Apps opening, games loading, multitasking, just snap, snap, snap. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. The CPU setup is actually changing this time. Before, MediaTek used what they called a 1+3+4 layout. 1 super powerful core, 3 medium cores, and 4 small cores. That was the old way. But the 9600 Pro is switching to 2+3+3. 2 powerful cores at the top instead of 1, and both of them running at that 5 GHz speed. Why does that matter? Because a lot of the heavy stuff your phone does, editing a video, running an AI feature, jumping between apps, that stuff benefits massively from having 2 top-tier cores instead of just 1. It's like going from a 1-lane road to a 2-lane highway. Traffic just moves better. Those 2 top cores are built on ARM's Canyon architecture, which is the newest, most advanced CPU design ARM has put out. The other 6 cores use designs called Gelus, a mix of efficiency and balanced performance cores doing the background work. And then there's the GPU, the graphics chip. The 9600 Pro is getting ARM's new Magni GPU. Now, we don't have a ton of detail on this yet, but based on what ARM has shown, Magni is a serious step up. Better graphics, smoother gaming, better image processing. For anyone who plays mobile games or shoots a lot of video, that matters a lot. On top of that, this chip supports LPDDR6 RAM, which is the latest and fastest RAM available right now, and UFS 5.0 storage. That storage standard is basically twice as fast as what most phones use today. So loading a game, opening a big file, anything like that, it's just going to feel faster. The standard Dimensity 9600, by the way, not the Pro, is expected to stick with last-gen LPDDR5X and UFS 4.0. Still good, but the Pro is clearly the one getting all the best stuff. There's also something called Scalable Matrix Extension 2 built into this chip. Okay, that's a mouthful, but here's the simple version. It basically makes the chip way smarter at handling AI tasks and heavy multi-core work. Think real-time translation, AI photo editing, on-device AI features. All of that gets faster and more efficient with this. And with every phone brand pushing AI features right now, this is a big deal. Now, and I have to be honest here, there's one thing I'm genuinely curious about and a little bit skeptical about too. Running 2 cores at 5 GHz inside a slim smartphone, that generates heat, and heat is the enemy of performance, because when a chip gets too hot, it slows itself down. That's called thermal throttling, and suddenly that blazing fast speed you were promised, gone. So the real question is, can MediaTek actually sustain those clock speeds in a real phone, in a real hand, running real apps? That's not something you know from a spec sheet. That's something you find out when reviewers actually test it for hours. If the phone can hold those speeds consistently, this chip is genuinely special. If it throttles after a few minutes, that changes things completely. And then, and here's something I personally really want to see from MediaTek, not just specs, driver support and developer partnerships. Qualcomm has spent years working closely with game developers and app makers to make sure their chips are properly optimized. That's a huge reason why Snapdragon phones often feel so smooth in games and apps. It's not just the hardware, it's the work done behind the scenes to make everything talk to each other properly. MediaTek has been getting better at this, but if they're serious about going toe-to-toe with Qualcomm and Apple at the very top, they need that ecosystem. They need developers optimizing for their GPU, their drivers, their platform. That's the part that doesn't show up in a leaked spec sheet, but it shows up every single day when you're actually using the phone. So where does this leave us? On paper, the Dimensity 9600 Pro is one of the most exciting chips of the year. Dual high-performance cores, blazing fast storage and RAM, a brand new GPU, and built on the most advanced manufacturing process available right now, the same 2nm node that Qualcomm's next flagship is also reportedly using. The real battle later this year is going to be between this chip, the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 6 Pro, and whatever Apple puts in the iPhone 17 Pro, probably the A20 Pro. And honestly, that competition is great for all of us, because when these companies push each other, we get better phones. Whether MediaTek can actually deliver on these numbers in the real world, that's the storyline I'm watching all year. And when those review units land, you already know we're going to break it all down right here. Stay tuned. This year is going to be a good one.